Hi, and welcome to my sewing room. My name's Leah, and I'm on week 30 of my UFO challenge, where I challenge myself to sew at least 15 minutes a day on my unfinished projects. This week, I have a slight detour from my paper piecing project, and I have a finish. And yes, the title of the video is it cheating if I didn't add it to the list yet? So that kind of gives something away a little bit. I finished a quilt that technically wasn't on my UFO spreadsheet. But since it's been sitting on the top of my quilts to quilt pile for 2 months, I'm going to consider it a UFO. And I'm happy to call this a finish. And since it technically didn't get added to my spreadsheet, then my UFO list hasn't actually grown. And that's the goal of this year, is to finish up my UFOs and not let that list grow longer. Maybe if I have time, I can squeeze in some more of the other little quilts, so I don't have to officially add those to my list. We'll see how it goes. As for my newest finish, this quilt was on the top of the pile of my quilts to be quilted, so I went ahead and pulled that one first. It was one of the tops I'd made for my brick windows video tutorial back in May. I actually made several of this same quilt in different colorways for that video, just so you can get an idea of what the pattern would look like if you chose different colors. I'll put a link to that video in the top corner, so you can check it out if you want to make one for yourself, or if you're interested in just seeing the extra colorways. This quilt top came together really fast. It's great for using up those larger novelty prints that can be tricky to cut down into smaller pieces. I quilted it in one day and then I bound it the next day. I used some all over meander swirls in the quilting. That made it quilt up really fast. And then I bound it in the same border print. It was quick to quilt as I didn't have to piece the backing. The quilt top fit perfectly within the width of the backing fabric. I also used a new batting for me. This one is warm and plush. I decided to give it a try when it went on sale, and I bought a small pack a while back. And let me tell you, this is definitely plush. It makes the quilt feel really thick. The batting is thicker than the batting I'm used to using. Those other battings are considerably thinner, which has been fine for me in the South, when sometimes the weather's just a little bit warmer. This plush batting has more weight to it, but it still feels soft. I will definitely use it again, particularly for maybe my winter quilts, when sometimes you do just need a little bit more warmth on those cold winter days. I actually worked on this quilt the last 2 days of the week. Before that, I did do some progress on my Pythagoras Lute project. I started the week sewing the last 2 colorways at the same time. I did set the machine for my 15-minute sessions, and one was even 25 minutes, but I felt the progress on this project was going really slow. When I only had 3 segments completed after all my 15-minute sewing sessions, I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So I took a break and I decided to work on a different project, and this is why I quilted up this one. But as I was taking photos of my progress and looking back on it, I realized I had actually done more than I thought. Even though I only sewed 3 segments, I had done it in 2 colorways, and each colorway has 2 of each segment. So I really sewed 12 segments. Each colorway has 16 total segments, so if you look at it that way, I almost did a whole colorway. Plus, I focused on the bigger segments, which probably took more time than the little ones, as the pieces are bigger and the seams are longer, which takes more time. So in the beginning, what I thought wasn't hardly any progress turned out to be actually quite a lot. These final smaller pieces should go together just as quick as these big pieces, and I'm hoping by the end of next week, I'll have all my wedges sewn together. I can feel the finish line approaching for this one. Maybe by the end of next week, I'll have another UFO that I can take off the list, and then I can pick another number from my UFO spreadsheet. And if the week goes well, I might be able to squeeze in another little small quilt to quilt off that quilt to be quilted pile. I don't have any major due dates coming up in the next week, and my master's classes are finished for the summer. That means more time for sewing. I hope you found time to sew this week. If so, let me know what you are working on in the comments below. It's fun to inspire each other. Thank you so much for following along on my UFO journey, and until next time, happy sewing.